You simply can't make this shit up. Family Healthcare Centers of San Diego, the organization that criminalized my successful mental health treatment program, is now moonlighting as a comedy club. I'm not making this up. Here is the actual brochure or flyer they sent out by email to promote this event. Laughter is the best medicine, it's called, with two-time Emmy Award nominee Mark Christopher Lawrence. Join us for a hilarious luncheon. It's tomorrow, July 19th, 2024. I looked up a little bit about Mark Lawrence. I couldn't find that much out about him, except he's a character actor. Apparently he's had a long career, and he now specializes in stand-up comedy. He is of African descent, and Family Healthcare Centers is trying to promote the Hispanic or Latino angle, so I'm not exactly sure why they picked this particular comedian, or for that matter, why they're doing this at all. It's just bizarre. My best guess is to con the government, funding sources, primarily the state government and the federal government. It's part of what they call the Spirit of the Barrio marketing campaign they're putting on, and also to attract other probably corporate funding sources. I'll talk about that in a bit. It's in a neighborhood called Barrio Logan. Nobody in that neighborhood calls themselves the Barrio. And in fact, Family Healthcare Centers of San Diego is not in that neighborhood either. They're in a neighborhood, Logan Heights. It is, there are a lot of Hispanic people there, but by no means exclusively. It's lower income, but it's not that disadvantaged anymore. In fact, it's gentrifying in many ways. It's actually a nice neighborhood. So they're just conning the government, who will just fall all over them. So if you say disadvantaged community, and they just are all agog with how wonderful things are. But this organization is anything but wonderful. In fact, I'm convinced they're a criminal organization. A lot of people know that they're basically a Medi-Cal billing mill operation, but I think they're far worse than that. And this has a darker purpose than what we're seeing on the surface here. So here's another part of the marketing email that they sent with the sponsors for this event. They have, looks like 5 levels. Corazon, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Adelante, Fiesta, Benefactor, and Patron. Corazon is their top level. It means the heart or sweetheart in Spanish. Apparently, these two organizations have given them, it's like $12,000, I believe. Quite a bit of money. Adelante, again, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. These organizations, one I want to call out here is a group called Community, because when I was at Family Healthcare Centers, they were my insurance company. They're awful. They're horrible. If you get past the age of 65 and you have Medi-Cal or Medicare, you essentially have nothing anymore. And these people were just, I was trying to, when I was criminalized by just the worst people I've ever met in my life, happy to say their name. His name's Joseph Pulveda, the chief of psychiatry, who was never my psychiatrist. I've never even met him. He's a liar, he's a fraud, and he's a con man. And Myra Bube Sepulveda, who is our director of mental health, also a liar and a backstabber. She is the one who backed up Joseph Sepulveda's story that he was my psychiatrist, providing me with gentle care when somehow I went off and made violent threats. These people are just liars. There's no way to sugarcoat it. But what I wanted to say about Community is all they could do when I was trying to escape from there. It's a really important thing. I really want to drive that point home. They did not let me escape. I was trying to get out of that place. But Community is one of the places I tried to get a referral to someplace else, and all they could do was refer me back to them. And they were shameless in saying, well, now that you're past 65 or whatever the age was, we only make 20% off you, so you're not even worth it. They said that to other people. When the company Blue California, I also had them for a while, they somehow still got their fingers in it. And I actually had a woman almost crying once because I told her exactly what was going to happen when she called Community, and it did happen. And that was a good person. That was one of the rare people that care. I did apologize to her for putting her through that, but I told her, this is what's going to happen exactly, and it did. So I mean, none of these people should be giving this money to this organizations. But the one that especially upsets me is UC San Diego Health. That's government money going to another company that gets government money, and it shouldn't be used that way. It's only $5,000, which is just not even chicken scratch, in their world. But when I was at, technically they still are my medical health provider. I tried to get mental health help from them too. It turns out Joe Sepulveda was also claiming he was a professor at that organization. I tried to tell them that, and I was actually impressed by the way their front desk fielded it. And that's what made me decide to go to that organization. But then they just doubled down on this fake professor stuff. And it just blew up in a horrible, messy way. And I got blamed for it. As you'll learn, anybody who complaining about mental health services, no matter what, is in itself considered a mental health issue, no matter what they do. I mean, any kind of abusive relationship or fraud, if you complain, that's considered a mental health issue, maybe even a mental health disorder. So I don't think UC Health, they're already doing some kind of scam operation. I'll say scheme. I won't say scam just yet. But I have hit them with a Freedom of Information Act. In California, it's called the Public Records Request Act. They just ignored it. They just said, we don't have any information. They've got a ton of volunteer professors there that was on the restraining order that was signed for me. So now UC San Diego Health is just lying. I don't know why. I'm going to try to find out. But they should not be giving money, public money, to another organization that's using public money for scam operations like this. It's just awful. And the other ones, again, these go on order, so these ones are lower. But as other people have said, don't give these people money, whatever you do. So I'm certain that none of the sponsors of this event have anything but the best of intentions. They think that by helping this organization, they really are helping people that need medical help, mental health help. But Family Healthcare Centers is not the organization you think they are. So the best way to demonstrate that is to show you what those people in those neighborhoods are actually saying. It doesn't have anything to do with, whether they're in the Barrio or whether they're Hispanic or Latino. Let's look at what they're actually saying. And the easiest way to do that is just to go to one of the review sites. The biggest one is probably Google Places. So this will be completely unfiltered. I'm going to do it right online here while you're watching. I'm not going to cherry pick anything. You'll see both the good and the bad reviews. But let's take at least a few minutes and look at what people are actually saying. So as you can see, I've done a search here for Logan Heights Family Health Center, which is the closest to Barrio Logan, which they call the Barrio. And that just pops up right here in Google with a picture of their advice and, of their site, and 265 reviews. So let's click that. So this is coming up in Google order. I'm not filtering anything here. If you scroll down, you'll see an awful lot of 1-star reviews, but some 5-star reviews where, that's 1-star reviews. You cannot go any lower. There's no such thing as 0-star. 5-star reviews is the best, but you do notice something. I can't even find one now. When you have a 5-star review, there are some good ones, but a lot of them are completely blank. Not all of them. But there is one important difference. When nobody gives a 5-star review to the organization, they give a 5-star review to some individual provider. Somebody was nice to them in that organization. And there are good people in the organization. I know. I met some of them. The higher you go in the management organization, the worse the people get. They only promote people who are dishonest. I'm absolutely convinced of that. And by the way, all the managers there, all the people they call leaders, it's the first job any of them have ever had in their life. They only hire entry-level employees, and they only promote from within. That is a recipe for disaster. I have never heard of another organization anywhere that does that. And that is, I know just not that they are a criminal organization now, but I know how they got to be one. There's a number of other factors that made that possible. Some very specific personnel policies, some beliefs and attitudes on the behalf of both management and employees. I'll go over that later, but now we'll just look at these reviews. But the important difference is that the high-level reviews are almost always about one person, and the low-level ones are people just met a number of horrible people. So let's just start right at the beginning here. Again, I searched for Logan Heights Family Healthcare Centers. I clicked on reviews, and this is what came up. So the first one here is from Douglas Mishank. Used this clinic for his son. We were treated as if we had 6 heads in the body of being from another planet. One of the ladies at the front desk tried every way possible to refuse service to us. She even went so far as to tell me I need to take my son back to Antelope Valley. This, by the way, is urgent care. This is not an urgent care center. That is just another marketing scam to get money off the government. I am 100% convinced they're flooding the emergency rooms. If you read these reviews, you'll find out. This person's son was slightly disabled, or mentally disabled, but very well behaved. Had an accident where it was twisted in the wrong direction. Was in exasperating pain, and they tried to get around treating my son. Healthcare everywhere has deteriorated. That's true, but I have never encountered the inferior service we received at this replica of an urgent care clinic. It is not. So anyways, this person, Doris, just goes on to say her son is polite, independent adult. He sat there calmly, and they'll make people that can afford at least wait for hours. It's one of the really, really horrible things they do. The second review is from Shalasi, also 1 star. Just starts out, absolutely not. I made an appointment with my daughter to get a replacement pair of glasses. Very routine request, which she had gotten there before a while ago. They told me the wait was 4 months. 4 months per pair of glasses. That's beyond absurd. So we waited 4 months. People on low income will do that. You just never have the little bit extra money. I even called out of work and everything just to go to the stupid appointment. I got all the way down there, and they tell me they aren't doing glasses anymore. They could have just told me that on the phone. Completely ridiculous and a waste of time. I could have already gotten her glasses somewhere else. So now we are now 5 months out, and she still has broken glasses. This place is beyond ridiculous. I never use the term wasting time anymore. It just doesn't reflect the gravity of what they're doing. They're not wasting people's time. They're stealing it from the people who can afford at least. They're leveraging their time. And this is just a very typical thing they do. People drive across town just to get something simple. A phone call could have settled it very easily, and they simply don't care. They don't care about your time because they don't think you're worthwhile as a person. It's just horrible what they do. I mean, I imagine there have been, you see people so angry, so frustrated. I believe this might have put some people over the edge, even maybe throwing some people towards suicide. It is that bad. This one is a 2-star review. My sister went to urgent care. She was seen right away, but after 30 or 40 minutes of waiting for the doctor to come and give her the results of her test, the doctor never showed. We got a nurse come in and hands her paperwork and basically shoved us out of the room. Very unpleasant experience, and also a very typical experience. So the next 1-star review, or the next review is 1 star from Catherine Williams. She's been a patient of family healthcare centers for about 5 years, been to this location 3 times, she said. And her urgent care, her experiences in urgent care have always been horrible. To sum up, I wasn't listened to. I was shamed. I was told not to do things based on doctors' feelings, not given any facts or scientific findings on the matter. The wait times are long. The nurses are rude. They keep you in the dark on procedures, time estimates, your rights. You don't have any rights once you're there. Your rights are gone. And they retaliate when possible. And she is absolutely right. They will retaliate. They have a number of ways to do that, and they will retaliate. They did it to me. It's a culture of retaliation. Whether you're a patient or an employee, they retaliate. So be very, very careful. It's not a healthcare center. The first is I'm not going to go. This is a very long one. And by the way, when people write long reports like this, there's a reason for it. It means it was a really, really horrible experience for them. Um, I'm not going to go through this. I should have known. First experience was a red flag, but I went back a few years later after a car accident. Um, it just goes on and on about shaming people, making them wait. And in this case, they don't really say for, but he reported her to the DMV. These people are not on your side. Just anybody that might be listening to this, thinking of being a patient, avoid it at all costs. Mental health, if you're going there for a mental health issue, you'll wait months and months, and then when you go in, it could haunt you for the rest of your life. I am not kidding. The number of people that get actual help, they're very rare. Very rare. Most people just waste a massive amount of time, or they steal your time, get as much billing in as they possibly can. And then if something goes wrong, there is no place to complain. That's why people flock to these boards. The next review is also a one-star review from Travis Ghana. Um, he had an appointment at 12:30. He scheduled an appointment, went out of his way, uh, but he had to wait. And then they tell him, "Oh no, you can't have appointments here. It's walk-in." Um, and he had to pay Uber to get there from Lakeside. Cost a fortune. I'm sure he didn't have the money. And he had to pay to get back. Huge waste of time. He doesn't recommend the office of dental staff. They have no knowledge whatsoever of customer care. Do not go there for dental. I have horror stories. I've heard horror stories. I personally have horror stories. They actually mutilated me. They did some completely unnecessary procedures. I'm so traumatized by what happened to them in my mental health care. I haven't even talked about the dental. That's even worse. They do things only to make money off you. The next review is also a one-star review. This one from Benito Jimenez, I pronounced that wrong, I'm sure. I went to with a problem with his ears. Front desk girl didn't receive me, but told they can't attend to me because I didn't have an appointment. This is urgent care. They go back and forth about whether you need an appointment or not, and whatever is most convenient to them. So he suggests going to the emergency room on the second floor. This person did. Then they said you have to register. You have to wait in another line. People were on the phone. This person was desperate. Left looking for another clinic. It's insane what the personnel do at this clinic. Nobody complains, and they don't act like they're trying to help customers. They're joking and talking behind the front desk, and they don't care if you come in with pain or other discomfort. Please ask patients how they're treated, how they rate the service. Thank you for nothing. These responses from the owner you will see kind of randomly. It's unclear how they pick which ones to respond to, but they all are boilerplate. They all say the same thing. We would like to address your concerns, but need additional information to do so. Will you please provide us with contact information and reach out? Always says the same thing. On this one, on Google, you do not have a way to contact people, but on Yelp, they do. So they're just lying. On Yelp, they'll say, we don't have information to contact you. You know, are you kidding? The guy put his real name here, or the person put his real name here. Of course they have that. So they're just lying. And what happens if you do call them? They'll have you come back in, and they'll just bill you. They won't resolve any issues. They have zero problem solving ability. It's just they will call you back in. You might live in another part of town. Transportation might be very difficult for you. They just do it to bill you. The next review is also a one-star review. This from Mita Kordobaheski. I got my day off and lost my training at work. I drove there. I was on time. They made a mistake in my appointment, but they didn't help me get my ultrasound done. I had to wait 7 weeks again for the next appointment. I have a cyst, I have pain, and they don't even care. I talked to the manager on the phone, and they didn't help. They're worthless, and this is very typical. They won't help you get service from any other organization. They believe they're the entire world. You're one of the downtrodden losers, especially if you're on Medicare or Medi-Cal. You're just almost subhuman to them. So they're just leveraging people's time here. The people in our community who can least afford it, they're thieves. They're dishonest. It doesn't say if it's prenatal. Oh my God. Do not go there if you are seeking prenatal help. It is a nightmare. There are dozens of reviews where people went in hoping to get an ultrasound. I mean, 7 months. I mean, that's 7 weeks. Um, and it never happens. They say the machine is broken or something. I'm not even sure if they even have one. So many people say the same thing. Absolutely exploiting people. It's just horrible what they do. This next review, taking these in order, is also a 1-star review. It's from Isaac Juan. Worst, I drove from El Cajon. I was on time exactly for my appointment, and they tried to tell me I was late by 6 minutes, and so they were not going to see me for a physical. But they could see me for something else. I said, okay, so just the blood work then, and they said they wouldn't do that either. I was at this place. I made an appointment. At the time of the appointment, there is no excuse for this garbage service. Isaac, thank you for saying that. Thank you for telling the truth to power. Um, this is one of the, I don't use the word evil very often, but they have this 1 minute late policy. It is pure evil. They will take people who can least afford it, and you have to wait anyway. It's ridiculous. And they overbook, and they double book, and they do every dirty trick you can even imagine. They're just leveraging the people's time that can least afford it. They're thieves. They're criminals. I'm 100% convinced. I know from what happened to me. They're criminals and they're liars. But everybody else is saying it too. Nobody is listening. Nobody that funds this organization is listening. The next review is also a 1-star review. This is from Jayla Callis. I think this is also one about glasses. He or she, I don't know, had previously written a 1-star review, but decided, needed a prescription for glasses and decided to go here. Talked about the person he met at the front desk. Not a single smile throughout my visit, which lasted 40 minutes. Very rude girl, messy in hair and appearance. I told her that I took an hour off from work, had to drive 30 minutes to work. There were 2 technicians and 1 patient in the clinic when I came in. 40 minutes patients come in, and they don't take them without waiting 3 minutes in the waiting room, but I was waiting 4 minutes. If whoever has the minds to use, and after hearing that I don't have time, they would have helped for a few minutes to choose the glasses. Really bad place. Some of the English, I'm not sure what this person's saying exactly, but obviously rudeness. Rudeness is a very, very common complaint there, and I believe the reason is the way that employees are indoctrinated there, especially the young people. Something around like probably at least 90%, maybe more, maybe like 95% of the employees there will say, we believe in the mission, and the mission they tell people is, we help people who can't get insurance or medical help anywhere else. And when you think of that, that really drives home the place that these people are desperate. They can't get help. And for certain kinds of personalities, not everybody, that just means like, oh, these losers are begging us for help, and we can treat them however we want. And they do. Rudeness is a huge problem. Off the scale rudeness. It's really, really terrible. Again, I'm not talking about everybody there. There are some wonderful people there, especially some of the newer employees that haven't been there too long. Once you're there a couple of years, though, you shouldn't be there. In fact, that is part of their belief system they have. Everybody says, stay there for a couple of years and get out. And they do. And then they just hire new employees again. Again, they only hire entry-level employees. They only promote from within. I've never seen that anyplace else. It's a recipe for disaster, and it made a disaster. It was part of the reason this became a criminal organization. Again, on this one, you get the same boilerplate, seemingly at random. I've never been able to figure out how they decide to respond to some and how they don't. But it's always boilerplate. They want you to come in so they can do another billing, probably get nothing done. It's happened to me, so I know these people are telling the truth. The next one, also a 1-star review. I am not cherry picking. There are some 5-star ones. We just haven't got to them yet. There's so many people trying to warn the community. That's why, because there's no place else to do this. There's no place else to complain. Or more accurately, there's probably a couple dozen places to complain, which is exactly the same thing as having no place to complain. This person went by a pseudonym Hacknets. Logan Place is a place I recommend steering clear of at all costs. I was there for nearly 2 hours for an injury and still had not been even so much talked to by a nurse. This is urgent care. You just sit around. Again, It's just a billing opportunity. They simply do not care about the patients and simply just want the insurance money. I would go out of my way to go to AFC in the future. I don't know what AFC is, but this is so truthful. It's nice, concise. They simply do not care about the patient and simply just want the insurance money. That is as concise and as truthful a statement as you can find about Family Healthcare Centers of San Diego. Next one by Fabio Gordo. Again, a 1-star review. And again, I'm not cherry picking these. These are the order that Google is presenting them in. Had an appointment on the 28th, and they told me I was early, come back in an hour. Went back in an hour, but then they said the appointment was canceled. Then they called me and told me to go back for a shingle shot. Went, and they told me they couldn't do my shot because I didn't answer the phone. So long story short, went several times and was called 8 times now, and they want me to go back in a month. Yeah, right. Very typical. The shingle shot, by the way, is just something they knew they could bill for. Who knows if the person even needed it? But it's just like you're viewed as a billing object. You're not fully human when you go to Family Healthcare Centers of San Diego. Okay, here was a 5-star review. Finally had one. This was from Joseph Johnson. And by the way, some of the 5-star, well, a lot of the 5-star reviews say nothing. Those are suspicious. We don't know if they have their employees do it or if they have bots. I would put nothing by this organization. Again, it is a criminal organization. You might not believe me. I'll be giving more information that hopefully will drive that whole point home. Make you consider that it's at least plausible. But Joseph, this is 5-star. He likes. Had some quick dentistry work done there for 2 cavities. Overall, my experience was excellent, given the fact that it's community-based care and not major medical. The staff can be assumptive and short due to their propensity for treating the indigent population, but I'm hard-pressed to find anything to complain about, and the results have exceeded my expectations. So that's kind of what they call left-handed compliment. It's like very routine, couple cavities, and this particular person did have a good experience there, although that is not exactly a glowing review. The next person, Krishna Gupta, did give 2 stars, not 1. Heavy bias towards Spanish-speaking people will literally put you at the bottom of the queue for hours for no reason, even if you have been prioritized. And this person, Krishna, liked the doctors. So, and there are good ones there. In fact, I had a good doctor. He actually was not a licensed doctor. I didn't find that out until I left. I thought he just wanted to be called by his first name. His name was Patrick Fink. I thought he just wanted to be called by his first name because he was cool. So this person did have a good bias. I have heard that bias towards Spanish-speaking people before. I don't know if it's true or not. I never experienced myself, but a lot of people do say it. It is at least plausible. This next one from Tracy. These just go on and on like this. Worst experience ever. Very unmotivated staff. Came here yesterday because I'm almost dying for pain, having severe throwing up, nausea, stomach pain, fever. I can't eat, and I'm weak, etc. But since I don't have insurance yet, the woman told me I have to pay $1,800 just to see a doctor before they would see me. Okay, let me just interject here. They say they treat everybody regardless. That's just a bald-faced lie. They're just money grabbing. They know they can charge Medi-Cal, and this is what it is. It's a Medi-Cal billing mill. But anybody else, you just never know what happened. But they're only about money. Completely the opposite of their self-image of themselves. They have an infinite population of low-income people, and if they flush some down the toilet, they don't care a bit, no matter what their situation is. So going on with Tracy's review, the lady told me I had to pay $1,800. She never offered anything. They just ignore that I'm in pain. No, they don't have any other way, no resources, anything. After telling them all the worst symptoms I have, and take note, I am pregnant. They're racist because they seem to be nice to Mexicans, but doesn't seem to entertain me or something I ask. I can try to go to urgent care. The lady in the woman department said, no, you can't. But when I insist, she said, that's up to you. Even if you go there, they will ask you to come down here, and they cannot treat you until you get the coverage first. No compassion for 6 people. I will seek legal advice once I get better regarding this. I have so many things to say about this. First of all, if you're a woman and you're pregnant, don't go there no matter what. Don't go there for prenatal. The horror stories are just off the scale. I can't believe this place is still, they haven't shut this place down yet. They should have a long time ago. But the other thing, a lot of people that just are abused here, they'll retaliate if they can, if they have a way to retaliate, if you complain. They certainly did with me. But this person says you seek legal advice. It won't help. They will have government-funded cheaters, liars and cheaters, as they did with me. Absolutely reprehensible liars, like George Rios III, despicable liar. And the company worked for him, forgetting the name. Horrible people. And they, unlimited government budget, government-funded attorneys, unlimited. They'll last for years. They'll take you to court for years while they're all cashing in on, people that are, low income. Doesn't matter to them a bit. Every dime of their time will be paid for. So I don't know. I don't think there is any legal recourse against us. I don't know what we can do to fight back against these people, but they're horrible. We just have to get the word out to the community. The federal government should not be funding an organization like that. That is just horrible. Another one now from Kimberly Jamez. Still another 1-star review. Again, I am not cherry picking. These are in the order Google is presenting them in. Came into urgent care and nobody told me they were at capacity. I waited outside in the cold, possible bacterial infection, for them to take my vitals and tell me I wouldn't be seen. By the way, they probably charged the government for that. The front desk staff did not inform me of this. Wasted my time coming here, waited an hour. Other people have been saying similar things, but I assume they had conditions that took longer. I do not recommend this urgent care. The front desk staff should have done their job and told us of this. I put a sign there, does not suffice. She said they put some little sign up there saying closed or whatever. The nurse said she would inform the director. Please inform your front desk staff to let patients know, because we don't enjoy wasting time and pain only to be given a comeback tomorrow. And we'll still have to wait again, or I can give you other options for urgent care locations. It's horrible. I mean, wasting time doesn't put the gravity of the situation. If you added up all the time, or they took low-income people and made them drive around or take buses. I was one of them. Buses across town just to be told to get lost and then have to make an appointment. This is mental health. I have a lot to say about that. They will make your mental health worse, and they could destroy your life, or much of it, as they did with me. Stay away from these. I don't know if I want to. I mean, that could just go on forever. There are 5-star reviews here and there. Here's one. Want to thank FHC Urgent Care for accepting me with my urgent need. Night staff. Thanks to a nurse who made it possible for me to be seen. Thank you all for your help and keep up the good work. I don't know if that one's real. It probably is. You do see some that have, are fake because they use government buzzwords in there. That one does not seem to. Carlos Sanchez, another 1-star. Worst experience here. The receptionist never asked me for my copay for every visit. When a large bill racks up, they decide to ask me if I plan on paying the outstanding amount. Yet every time I go there, I'd be asked if I'd need to pay anything. They'd say no. Again, misinformation all the time. They are still billing. They're still cashing in on you. You are their marks. You're a billing object. You're not a person. I don't know if I may keep going with this. I think this video is already getting long, and it could just keep going forever. You can look yourself. The typical reviews, I've looked this up on any medical site or any doctor. It's usually about 70% positive and 30% negative. Family Healthcare Centers has flipped that. 70% negative and 30% positive. And the positive ones are never about the organization. It's always about an individual person they saw there, because good people do work for bad organizations. And Family Healthcare Centers is a bad organization. So that is just a taste. I'm sorry, that was too long. And those aren't even the worst ones. They're horrible ones. I'm going to organize some material and make it in a way that people can search it and see it and would be able to communicate more effectively to what's going on. Family Healthcare Centers is a criminal organization. So if you're going to the Spirit of the Barrio event, you're a sponsor of them, I guess the takeaway line is, do not give these people money no matter what. Never give these people money. It will be used to harm people and maybe destroy their lives. It will not be used to help people. You'll be padding the bloated salary of the fat cats executives who have been there essentially forever. Many of them have never had another job in their lives, paid astronomical salaries, and they're cashing out on the people who need help most, who aren't giving in, who have no options, because Family Healthcare Centers is now a quasi-monopoly. And if you have Medicare or Medi-Cal and you're in San Diego, you don't have other options. So I really did not intend for this video to be this long, but there's so many horror stories about family healthcare centers of San Diego that once you start, it's hard to know when to stop. But while I was I did have the question, even knowing that they're pushing this, we help the disadvantaged communities stick. There's still something, this whole thing didn't make sense. You're having a comedy routine in this spirit of the Barrio. Nobody here calls it the Barrio. The neighborhood is called Barrio Logan. But while I was making this video, this email came in, and maybe somebody also said, people could ask, what is this for? What does this have to do with healthcare? It has nothing to do with healthcare. It's a way of tricking the community. I guess it's sort of a fundraiser. If you add up, all the people paying $7,500 and whatnot to go. But here's the letter I got where somebody looks like they said, let's pretend this has something to do with actual health care. So I got this last minute. Due to popular demand, registration closes 1 p.m. today. Online walk-ins will be accepted. Don't miss out. Did you know that laughter can be a simple yet powerful tool for improving mental, emotional, and physical health? And a bunch of bullet points. Laughter increases pain tolerance. Laughter reduces stress level hormones. Laughter promotes heart health by reducing blood pressure, increasing vascular blood flow. Laughter causes deeper breathing, which sends more oxygen. This is all nonsense. Lungs, and improves blood vessel function. Laughter improves mood and combats anxiety and depression. Laughter boosts the immune system. Laughter builds and strengthens social connections, fostering a sense of community and belonging. Laughter improves cognitive function and creativity. Laughter promotes healthy coping mechanisms for dealing with difficult situations and emotions. Come join us for lunch this Friday, July 19th, for a healthy dose of laughter. I think people would rather get health care than this crap. None of the people that you pretend to give health, this organization pretends to give health care to, could afford this anyway. But what a bunch of crap. This is just shameful. And the fact that groups like UC San Diego Health are donating to this with government money, it's shameful. This organization, people know it here, they are destroying the healthcare, the lives of people in this community. They've been doing it for years, but the system that tracks complaints, the system that tracks performance and how they're doing, it's rigged. It's as rigged as a system can be rigged. And many people, many people, go to this organization, go to family healthcare centers, thinking they're going to get some help, and they end up hating the government, especially the federal government. They're just converting people to, for want of a better word, right wing. I mean, they are the worst example of a public funded organization you can even imagine. Please do not give these people money. There are many worthy causes in San Diego that actually help people. Family healthcare centers is not one of them. They should have been shut down by the health department years ago. Anybody who's harmed this many people would have been shut down. Any regular business, this has got to stop. But whatever you do, please don't support this organization. Don't give them money. I thank you for watching this video if you did. I'm sorry it was so long. And most of all, thank you for your attention.